Welcome to episode 7 of PM Exercises Weekly. This week we'll chat briefly about the importance of user journeys and how they matter for you as a product manager. So when you think about a product and the problem that it solves, sometimes even though it solves a very painful problem for the user, you don't get adoption for that product. And usually when you look into why, it's probably got something to do with how that product is actually used in the context of a user journey that's broader than the user journey of the product that you've created. So what it means is that it's very important for us to really think about how our product or the solution that we're offering is going to actually be living in the life of the user experience from the beginning to the end of the journey that they're going to have in relation to the problem that they're dealing with. So I'll give you a really good example. Let's think about mortgages, right? Nobody likes how the mortgage process is very broken and it's very hard. And there have been a lot of companies that have tried to really come up with some sort of an innovative solution that makes the mortgage application process easier, faster, more digital, and they've tried to kind of reduce the number of months it takes for you to get a mortgage approval, because nobody wants to wait for 2 months or a month or so to get their mortgage approval when they're trying to compete with other buyers and they're kind of dealing with all the unknowns that are involved in buying a place. So the challenge, however, is that if you try to just digitize the mortgage application process or the mortgage approval process, chances are you're not going to get as much of an adoption. And the reason for that is mortgage is actually part of the house buying experience. So typically you kind of have to think about what the user goes through before they even think about buying a place. They need to know what sort of budget they have in mind, how much income they have, where do they want to live. And typically what happens is some companies like banks that are their financial advisors, they get involved earlier in the user journey of somebody who wants to buy a house, and they start giving them some financial advice or kind of tell them how much they can apply for and what would be an optimum amount for them to get mortgages. And by the time they already find a house, the bank has already locked that relationship with the buyer of that mortgage. So now for a digital mortgage service provider, it's much harder to kind of come in and be part of that relationship. So I think it's very important for us to kind of think about this example, because this problem actually exists in a lot of the products that are out there. Typically, a product really lives in a much longer, broader user experience, right? Airbnb is not about just booking a vacation location. It's about exploring where you want to visit, how much you want to spend, what kind of experience you want to have. Maybe product management exercises is not about just the PM job interview prep process. Maybe it's broader than that. It's also about you exploring what kind of jobs you want to apply for, and how do you improve your product management skills. So sometimes that question of what is the user journey is very important, because once you have a good understanding of what the end-to-end user journey looks like, you're able to offer a solution with a product and that doesn't create friction with their existing user experience, and it's still able to improve their quality of life. And that's going to hopefully help you drive adoption. I hope you find this session helpful. Thank you very much, and hope to see you next week.